whether it is on or whatever.
Hey, it says no data right now. Okay. It just says please should be fine. Yeah, it's loading now. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you just ask Naveen not to share his camera? He's sharing his camera, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Anirudh and Shreyas, you guys can start your quiz.
Okay,
You can
fantastic.
introduce yourself, and I won't be taking part. I'll just make sure everything is working, but you guys can go ahead.
Hold on. Kid, do you want to introduce them?
Yes, I'll do that. Everyone, welcome to today's QFI session. At the outset, apologies for the delay in the start, but we are trying something. So there were some technical updates that needed to be done. Today's quiz masters are Anirudh and Shreyas, Dubai Group. This is a quiz that they're doing for us today, and it was very well received, and we got a lot of positive feedback, and hence we had requested them to run the quiz for us at QFI. Thank you, Anirudh and Shreyas, for doing the quiz for us. Welcome, and on with the quiz.
Fantastic. Can everyone hear my audio? That's the only thing I just want to make sure of.
And we will do a mic test, so to say. In order, one person from each team can speak on the mic as well as send a test bounce, so that we know everything is working fine. So just please go in order. Can team one someone speak on the mic? Vinith or Vikram, Narendran.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you. And just send a pounce also. Yeah, we received that. Team 2, can you speak on the mic and send a pounce?
Hi, this is Satish from Team 2.
Okay. Team 3.
Great.
Hey, this is Team 3 sending the pounds.
Team 4.
Team 4, Anil here.
Okay. Got your pounds as well. Team 5. Team 5, someone please. Keshav, Srinath, Jai Gopal or Siddharth, I guess. Can someone please speak on the mic?
This is Team 5.
Okay. Can you please be faster? Team 6.
Devi Prasad, DP here. I've just entered the pounds.
Okay, thank you. Anirudh and Shreyas, you guys can go ahead.
Okay, fantastic.
Before you go ahead, just 1 second. I don't know if someone has their speaker or something open and their mic also unmuted. Please mute yourself because I can hear an echo. Okay, fine. Yeah, you guys can go ahead now.
Fantastic. So before anything else, thank you so much to QFI, especially to Dr. Naveen, JK, and Raju for both inviting us and for all the support to get us up to speed with Discord. We hope this will be a fun quiz for all of you. So just a couple of quick ground rules. So there's just 30 questions. It's split across 2 halves. If we want to, we can take a break after 15 for a few minutes and then pick it up again. Generally, in terms of scoring, so it's infinite bounce and pounds. On the bounce, it's +10, and we'll conserve points. So if it's a 2-part question and team number 1 gets the first part and team number 2 gets the first and the second part, then team 1 will get 5 and team 2 will get 10. On the pounds, it's +10, -10. One thing for pounds that I think we used in the quiz, the by quiz, that kind of helped it move a little faster was we have a pounds timer in the top right corner. So what we'll do is after the question has been read, we'll just announce that pounds is opening and start running this timer. So hopefully it should be visible to all of you that the timer is sort of counting down. And we've kept about 60 seconds for teams to pounce for each question. And if you're pouncing, we need the pounce answer to be received in the pounce window before this timer runs out. If it's not received, we'll have to say that the pounce you will not have been deemed to have pounced. What might sometimes happen is Shreyas will be monitoring pounce for the most part, will receive the answer and will ask for a little bit more clarification or detail. In that case, obviously, we'll try to get an answer from you as promptly as possible. If not, we'll move on from there. Just a general question, is the timer and the countdown visible to everybody?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Fantastic. There may be one or two questions where the timer accidentally starts, especially on slides that run 2 questions. So if it starts, don't worry about it. I'll go back and reset it before I open up pounce. And so it'll be 1 minute for pouncing for everything. And lastly, we think the questions are workable, so encourage you to guess. Just in terms of what to expect with this pounce timer, we have one trial question, so there's no points and no negs, but just to make sure that teams that we are comfortable with the pounce software that the bots have at Discord, and then also just to make sure that teams are comfortable pouncing. So this is just a trial question. You should please feel free to pounce. In fact, all teams, if you pounce, that will be great because it means that the pounce that gives us a little more practice on that end. So to no one at all, only on the pounce, no bounce. So in the early 1900s, Canada used 2-letter call signs to identify airports. Increased travel in the 1930s posed a problem. Pilots needed to tell from a call sign whether or not the corresponding airport had on-premises radio facilities. So we want to know what was Canada's solution to this problem, which spawned a convention that is uniquely Canadian even today. Okay, so timer is starting now.
If you could also just confirm if all the teams got the picture of the slide. I tried to send it around, I'm not sure if it went, so just let me know.
We did receive it. Thank you.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, Team 5 got the question and pounce submitted.
It's about 30 seconds.
Team 5, I got your pounce. Thanks. Yeah, okay.
So approximately 20 seconds.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
Okay, so pounce is over. Time's up.
So I received pounces from 5, 2, 6, 3, and 1. So I think 4 is missing. I don't know if that is intentional or not. 4.
4, if you want to for this question, you can in the next 10 seconds. Otherwise, okay. So Shreyas, did any of the teams get it right?
Yeah, Team 5 and Team 2, I think.
Okay, so Team 5 and 2, fantastic. So just in terms of what the answer is, so what Canada does for all their airports is you will notice they add a letter Y before all their airports, international and domestic, begin with the letter Y. So this was done because they used to have 2-letter call signs, and then if a radio call center was available, they added Y to indicate yes, so that pilots could easily know by looking at the airport code. And for those that did not have one, they added W, but obviously all those airports now are defunct because it's sort of a necessity for an airport to have those facilities. So that was just a trial question. So now let's get cracking with the main event. So this is on the direct to question to team number 1, open on the pounce to everybody else. All right, so 15 questions going clockwise. Great. So first question. Emperor Dom Pedro II of X wanted to improve the agricultural productivity of his country in the mid to late 19th century, feeling that it was a long way behind Western nations. To do this, he came up with a policy where he encouraged immigration, particular people from a country, believing they would find conditions in X favorable and more in tune with their lifestyle and desires. So approximately 10 to 20,000 people took up his invitation and settled down in X. Every year, they celebrate a festival which is called Festa something. I've left the blank out deliberately, with traditional symbols that attract little attention in X, but would be controversial in the country of origin. So if you fill in the blank, you'll also get a clue for the question I'm asking, which is, who did Dom Pedro II encourage to immigrate? And why did he think they would take him up on this offer? So, two-part question. I'm starting the pounce timer now. So 25 seconds to go.
Ten to go.
Okay, so pounce is closed.
I got no bounces, Ani.
Okay.
Team 6, I got a bounce, but I received it late, so I will not consider it.
Okay, so this just goes on the bounce to everybody. So starting with team number 1. Team number 1.
Yeah. It's X is Brazil.
Okay, that's fine. That's not asked for though. So I want to know, who did he encourage to emigrate and why did he think they would take him up?
Yes, hold on. Is it Israelites? Israeli people of Israel Jew origins?
Okay, and why?
Because maybe that time the country was not there, so they didn't have the country of the ones. He would have invited them.
Okay, pass it to team number 2.
So we're going to go with, I think these were the Confederate supporters in the USA, and I think he thought that they would bring new technology to Brazil that will improve agricultural yield. So it was Festa Confederates or something like that.
Okay, and that's the first part. The second part?
I think he was. The expectation was that they would bring new technology and maybe slaves from the US to Brazil, where they would improve the plantations or agricultural yield.
I'm going to pass on.
We'll say, for the second part, I guess the first part is answered. The second part, we'll say at that point of time, Brazil had a slavery place. So they, Dom Pedro probably felt that these Southerners, these Confederates who would, plantation owners would move to Brazil and continue on with the, the slaving traditions that they had in Southern US. They would just continue on with that in Brazil. So they would be happy to immigrate.
Great, and that is the complete answer. So that is correct. Team 2, you got very close, but it's not about them bringing slaves from the US or technologies. It's like Team 3 said, that there was slavery had not been abolished in Brazil at that point. And so they felt that, Dom Pedro felt that if they wanted to have slave run agriculture, it might be possible to do that in Brazil. The country was indeed Brazil, like team number 1 mentioned. Obviously, the experiment didn't end up going fully as anticipated. But there is a city called Americana that is either in or just outside Sao Paulo. where this festival is still celebrated. It gets its name from the fact that it was mostly people from the Confederate South who settled there. So fantastic answer. 5 points to team number 2 for getting Confederate citizens. 10 points to team number 3 for the complete answer. And this goes on direct to team number 4 now. Okay. So billed as the answer to the Nazi-driven Berlin Olympics, there was a left-wing Olympics called the People's Olympiad in the same year, with athletes from liberal and left-leaning nations scheduled to take part. The event was supposed to take place in July 1936, ending days before the start of the Olympics in Berlin. However, a few days before it was supposed to kick off, the event had to be hastily cancelled. Many of the athletes never made it to the venue, and those that did left quickly. However, some 200 athletes decided to stay back and do something else given the moment. So 2 parts again. What was the host city and what did these 200 athletes do? I'm starting the pounce timer now. So about 30 seconds left on pounce.
Hello?
15 seconds left.
Sure.
Team 2 has received your pounds.
Alright, so that is time up. Shreyas, how many teams pounced?
I have a pounce from 2, and that's it.
Okay, so only team 2. So direct goes to team number 4.
We'll say the city
Hello, Janki,
could
can you hear
be
me?
Rome, and they're
Can you hear me?
probably taking part
if you can hear
in
me.
some sort of a protest
this is
or
fine. Yeah, if you can hear me, then fine. Sure.
nothing
Please
else.
go ahead.
Okay, I'll pass to team 5.
Okay, we're going to say the venue is a Spanish city, Barcelona.
Right. So, I mean,
And since it was the Spanish Civil War, these 200 athletes actually joined the Spanish Civil War at that time.
You may have to start from how to log in.
Fantastic answers. That is correct. Well cracked by team number 5. So the city in question was indeed Barcelona. And given the profile of the athletes who participated in the event, they joined the resistance against General Franco in the Spanish Civil War. What happened on the pounce, Shreyas?
2 had it right, and that was the only points I got.
Great. So 10 points to team number 2 and 10 points to team number 5. This question goes direct to team number 6. So Baron Pierre de Coubertin has generally claimed authorship for the modern pentathlon, which combines fencing, swimming, horse riding, shooting, and running. He created the contest to simulate the experience of a 19th century cavalry soldier behind enemy lines, believing that it would mold an ideal athlete or a functional soldier. To make the competition as close to real-life battle as possible, the rules of one of the disciplines specify something unusual. It is believed that this is a nod to the pentathlon's military inspiration and would prepare the athlete for the unexpected, much like a soldier in war. So I want to know which discipline and what is the unusual specification in the rules. You need to get both parts on both pounce and bounce to get points across. So there's no part points in this question. And I'm starting the timer for pounce now.
Yeah, no, let me call you. I will call you normal call.
30 seconds to go.
15 to go. No bounces so far. I received no bounces, Ani. I think you can start at
Okay,
6.
so bounce is closed. On the bounce to team 6.
DP, are you answering or do I answer?
Team 6, yes, whoever.
Okay, we'll go with the discipline is shooting. And what is unusual is they had to shoot from while riding the horse, essentially. So yeah, to be prepared in war, they had to shoot while riding a horse at the same time. So he's like combining two sports at the same time. So we go with that, yeah.
Okay, pass to team 1.
Okay, we'll say shooting, and so it was kind of as Team 6 was saying, they're probably riding a horse or moving along track, and the targets were not at defined positions, and they would appear at random positions, which is similar to how they would have to approach it if it were in a war. So that is what we say. So the targets would not be at fixed positions, which they would already be aware of.
Okay, pass to team 2.
So I think we have a couple of guesses, but one has got 100, so I'm going to go try that. So it's horse riding, but they had to pick they were given a horse to ride, not a horse they had trained with, because that could happen in a war.
And that is the correct answer. 10 points to team number 2. So that is indeed the rules for the horse riding event at the pentathlon. As a competitor, you can't use your own horse. Rather, you're paired with a horse 20 minutes before the event starts, and you have to use that for your competition. And Pierre de Coubertin felt that this is more analogous to what happens in battle, where you don't oftentimes get to choose your horse, you just take whatever's available. So great answer, team number 2, 10 points. And direct question now to team number 3. All right. So this is a photograph you'll see of young children in Siberia. So 2 parts to this question. First is just explain what is going on in the photo. I mean, we're looking for a few keywords. So if you hit those keywords, we'll give points for that. And the second is, why are children made to participate in it? So what is going on and why are children made to participate in it? I'm starting the bounce timer now.
Team 1, I received your bounce, but I think I've only got 1/2. So you got the first part, but you'll have to answer the second part.
Okay, 30 seconds left for bounce.
Team 1, I need the second part too.
Yeah, we are writing it.
Yeah. $15 seconds left.
Okay, so that is time. Time is
I'm
up.
still waiting for Team 1's second half to come in.
Okay, we'll wait for team 1 second half and then go to team 3.
Maybe 10 more seconds, Team 1. Okay, thanks, Team 1. I received your complete bounce. Ani, you can go on.
Okay, so team number 3 on the bounce.
Okay, we think in these parts of Siberia, sunlight is not easy to come by. So for kids to get their vitamin D, etc., which is a sunshine vitamin, they're using some kind of UV light to induce sunlight-like conditions. So these kids get exposed to sunlight.
All right, fantastic. That is both the parts correct. So what is indeed going on in the photograph is these are children standing in front of a UV lamp because, like the team mentioned, sunlight is very rare, so they need to get access to UV light exposure. This is done to give them vitamin D. And that's the way they strengthen children's bones at a young age in places especially during winter months when they don't get it. So what happened on the pounds?
Team 1 was the only one that bounced. They had the first half right, UV light, but then they guessed rickets instead of vitamin D. So unfortunately, it's an egg. And
We can give it to them because rickets is vitamin D deficiency, no?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we can give them that. That seems correct.
Sounds good.
So we'll give plus 10 to team 1 on the pounds and plus 10 to team number 3 on the bounce. And this question is a direct to team number 4. Shreyas, let me know if the scores are outside and I'll move on.
Just 1 sec, sorry. 4, 10 to team 3 as well, right? Yeah. Okay, very good.
So 10 to 1, 10 to 3, and the question not a 4 on the bounce.
Yeah, all good.
All right. Okay, so this is a question where there's a video. Hopefully it will play. So this musical, which is a video, is based on a US youth-led strike campaign to change practices for workers in a certain profession. The main adversaries of the strike campaign were X and Y, who were often rivals, but who this time worked together to the detriment of the workers. So first part is identify X and Y. X and Y were also responsible for a corrosive strategy which worried civil liberties advocates. In response, Samuel Warren and Louis Brandeis wrote an article advocating the recognition of a new constitutional right. The article has been prescient for current political debates. In 2017, the Indian Supreme Court issued a landmark judgment effectuating their advocacy. So what did Warren and Brandeis advocate for? So there's a video for the musical, which I'll play now. Okay. Was that audio audible, teams?
No, we didn't hear any audio.
No, we didn't hear any audio.
And the video froze after one point. I'm not sure if that was the end or if there was some more to it.
That I think there was a small freeze for a few seconds and it started again. So, okay, I'm not sure why the audio didn't play. Is there an easy fix, Raju? Otherwise, I mean, there's nothing in the words of the music that is really that helpful.
Then leave it. Let's not get into
it. Great. So, I mean, I'm happy to play the video again briefly just because it froze at some point. And okay. So that was the video. So I just want to know two things. So who are X and Y, which were the antagonists in this musical, which is based on a US youth-led strike campaign? And then what did Warren and Brandeis advocate for? So I'm starting the pounds timer now.
One question, X and Y are meant to be entities or people? 3. Huh?
25 seconds left for pounds.
Sorry, I was just asking, did you say entities or people for those? I couldn't
I
hear.
said people.
Okay.
For 10 seconds left.
For some reason, the pounds is stuck here. It shows 1 minute, and now it's gone directly to 3 seconds.
Okay. Well, I mean, so I guess maybe let me just reset that a little bit. I'll give teams about 25 seconds more. Hopefully now it can. Is the countdown visible now?
Looks fine to me, I guess, but
Right. So anyway.
10 seconds left. Okay, team 5, I received your pounds.
All right.
And that's it, Tony. So I got one from
All
5.
right.
So,
So team 5 has bounced. This is team 4's direct question. So team 4 on the bounce, we'll start with you.
Okay, this is the right to privacy. And for the names, we are guessing Pulitzer and Hearst.
Fantastic. That is a complete answer and 10 points to you. So this is the musical Newsies, which was based on the newspaper boys strike in the late 1890s. What happened was Pulitzer and Hearst had basically set up a scheme whereby there was a lot of paper selling because of I believe it was the Spanish-American War at the time. And they were not giving people, the newspaper boys, refunds on papers that went unsold. So this was a strike that essentially made people change the newspaper was striked, and the practices changed in the aftermath of that. Warren and Brandeis were responding to yellow journalism, which was also pioneered at the time by Pulitzer and Hearst, and they feared that there would be so much intrusion in people's private lives that the private sphere in its whole would vanish, and so they phrased a right known as a right to privacy, which they called the right to be left alone. So what happened in the pounds, Shreyas?
I got 1 pounds from 2, and they guessed Luce and Hearst instead of Pulitzer and Hearst. So I think that's an egg, unfortunately.
Team 2? I thought you said team 5 pounds.
Sorry, team 5. Apologies, I missed it.
Okay, all right. Okay, so team 5 gets a minus 10. Team 4 gets a plus 10. This is a direct that goes to team number 5 now. All right. So the next slide, which is from 1954, shows a process that workers in a certain profession/industry had to undergo on an almost daily basis. Since then, it has been regarded as one of the worst occupational hazards in history. It was safety reasons, but rather for the economic benefit of the employer to crack down on employee deception that was leading to lost profits. So
Anirudh,
yes.
The slide is frozen on the earlier thing. Yeah.
Has it moved now?
Yeah, now you got some question 6. Yeah, thanks. So
Okay,
can you start over, please?
Yeah, I'll start over. Also, hopefully, Shreyas is doing the exclamation N. So hopefully the slide should also be showing up in your pounds chats. But I'll start over. So anyway, there's an image in the next slide, which is from 1954. It shows a process that workers in a certain profession/industry had to undergo on an almost daily basis. Since then, it's been regarded as one of the worst occupational hazards in history. So it was instituted by these people's employer, not for health and safety reasons, but rather for the economic benefit of the employer itself, because it was cracking down on employee deception that was leading to lost profits. So I want to know 2 things. What was the profession of these workers, and what was the deception that employers wanted to crack down on? So this is the image, and I've put both parts of the question there. So I'll let you have a look at the image for a few seconds and then start pounds. All right, so that's the image, and starting the pounds timer now. If you need the full text of the question, it should be in your pounds chat as an image from Shreyas. Okay, 30 seconds to go.
Team 1 and Team 3, I got bounces. Team 6, I received your bounce as well.
Closing in 5.
Team 4, we are just typing it out. Huh?
Okay, we'll let Team 4 type their pounds out.
Okay.
So, who all have you got bounces from Shreyas, including Team 4?
I've got 1, 3, and 6. And I'm waiting on 4. I haven't received 4 yet.
Okay.
Team 4, I received it. So, Ani, you can start with 5.
Great. So, this goes to Team 5.
So we're going to say that these workers are diamond miners, and the deception they wanted to crack down was basically stealing the diamonds by sort of eating them and swallowing them.
Correct answer. Great crack there. So this is in South Africa in the 1950s. It is indeed diamond miners. So the end of each ship, they had to go through a fluoroscope because they were worried that people would hide the diamonds in body cavities. So swallowing is one. Other body cavities, put it in incisions in their legs is another one. The reason it's a huge hazard is obviously they used to have to have full-on X-ray exposure on a daily basis. At a point when the fact that X-rays' harmful effects on health were not fully known, and some people even say the doctors, obviously, they're not really wearing that much PPE in these photographs if you see. So they also received a significant dose of the radiation, and that obviously led to massive radiation-induced cancer later down in life. So plus 10 to Team 5. What happened on the pounds, Shreyas?
It was 1 got it right, 3 said tobacco industry, so that's an egg, unfortunately. 6 got it right, and 4 got it right.
Okay, so plus 10 then to 1, 4, 5, 6, and minus 10.
And direct is 6. Yeah, and your direct is 6.
All right, great. So this goes to team number 6.
Just 1 second, sorry. I just said it's minus 5, so I need to click this twice. 1 second, sorry.
All good. Let me know when you're ready.
That's yeah, I think we're good now. Okay.
Okay, great. Fantastic. So direct now to team number 6. All right, team 6. So in the 1990s, Sunil Gavaskar and Alvin Kalicharan expressed a desire to serve X, but they didn't know how to do so. So X told them to arrange a cricket match. One challenge was finding an appropriate venue. X insisted the match occur at Y in order to enable rural cricket enthusiasts to watch a match. However, Y did not have the requisite infrastructure, including a cricket pitch, to host the game. But these challenges were overcome, especially with the support of sponsors who had built a lot of the existing infrastructure at Y. Befitting the occasion, the stadium at Y was informally nicknamed by someone as blank after another famous cricket venue. So I want you to identify Y and tell me the nickname that was given. So I'm starting pounds now. Okay, so about 20 seconds to go, Shreyas. Any bounces?
I just received one from 5.
Okay, so about 20 seconds to go, Shreyas. Any bounces?
I just received one from 5.
Hold on, I'm sorry. You just
No problem.
not on the audio channel. That's the issue.
Type it out. I'll read it out.
Okay, so he says it's Puttaparthi, as in Perth, as in the Sydney ground. So Puttaparthi, PRTH.
Okay, got it. Team 1.
Oh, yeah, it's Sai Baba. I think it's Lords.
Okay, and why?
Hello?
Team 1, I heard an answer for nickname, and what is why?
Puttaparthi.
Okay, that is the correct answer. So that's 10 points. So 5 points to team number 6. Very clever. Puttaparthi is a very, very smart pun, but the stadium is informally called Lords by some journos who attended the event. Why is indeed Puttaparthi? So this is a famous, I think, one single unity match that happened between India and Sri Lanka. I think this is Tendulkar scored 100 plus and India won by some sizable margin. So this is him with a trophy. What happened on the pounds, Shreyas?
I got 1 pounds from 5 and they had it right.
QFI pound
Okay,
spot
so
said
plus 10
+5
to
to your
team
team.
5, plus 10 to team
Your
1,
score is now
and
15.
plus 5 to team 6.
Yep, and you can start with 2.
We got 0. I think you should get 10, right?
Where?
Team 1.
Which team is that, sorry?
Team 1.
Yeah, team 1 gets 10.
Oh, sorry, I meant to put a... Okay, I'll just... Let me know
Just
if
let
it
me know
came
when
through
it's
now.
done.
Yeah, now
Team
it's
1,
fine.
did it go through?
Yeah, now it's fine.
Thanks.
Great.
Sorry about that. I just pressed the wrong button.
All good. Should we move on, Shreyas?
I think so. Yeah, all good.
Okay, great. So question to team 2. So the painting on the next slide is Shadows of Liberty by Titus Caffar, which shows a proud George Washington on horseback wielding a sword and demonstrating his authority. In research for the painting, Caffar was struck by a certain document he found. He decided to paint the document and then cut it up into little strips. These strips were then nailed to Washington's body in the painting. Because Caffar wanted to unite two narratives of George Washington and give prominence to the document, which is often forgotten. So I want to know, what is this document that Caffar festooned to the painting? So I hope you can all see the image now. And there's a certain document there, as you can see. I just want to know, what is that document? I'm going to start the bounce timer now. The full question section is in your chats as an exclamation end. 25 seconds to go.
Team 1 pouncing, we are writing it. Yeah.
Team 1, I received your pounce.
Okay. It's closing shortly. Okay. Pounce is closed, so only team 1 has pounced.
Yep, only team 1, so you can start with 2.
Okay. So team 2, this is your direct on the pounce.
So I think this is Washington's list of slaves that he owned. So this is in a way trying to demonstrate that Washington in a way supported slavery, and so this is a festooning of that.
All right. Fantastic answer. That's exactly right. So this is George Washington's slave ledger. So Kafar found this document and he actually painted it onto canvas or paper, and he festooned it on top of the painting to unite this narrative of the father of the nation, but also someone who was a slaveholder. So fantastic answer that team 2 plus 10. Did team 1 get it, Shreyas?
Yeah, team 1 got it.
Team 1 got it plus 10 to team 1 as well. Direct on the bounce to team number 3. So team 3, this company began in the 1920s as a collaboration to improve US agricultural output. At the time, ball weevil insects were devastating cotton crops and pose a threat to the southern economy. In 1925, they began to expand and needed new employees. They famously made an offer to X for around $2,400 a year, but X turned them down in favor of a gig in a circus of sorts. When the company expanded to Peru, they realized that the market for their service was larger than agriculture. They changed their name to reflect a geographical feature and have remained a leading player in an adjacent business line since. So 2 parts. What is the company for 5? And then I wanted to identify X who they made an offer to. So opening up pounds now.
DP, can you turn off your mic?
You have 10 seconds left.
All right, time's up. Shreyas, did we get any pounces?
I got no pounces.
Okay.
So you can start with 3.
All right. So team 3 on the direct.
We'll say Mashi, any guess? Okay, we'll say the company is Monsanto.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, they changed the name. You said. Oh, sorry. Okay. No, we'll say X. Maybe Edison.
Okay.
And X only geographical feature in Peru would be say something to do with Machu
Need an
Picchu.
answer, team 3.
Sure.
Okay. Machu Picchu, Macha, and Edison. Pass to team 4.
We'll say Patagonia for the company, and Vivek says Charlie Chaplin as brand ambassador.
On to team 5. Team 5?
Yeah, team 5 here. We'll say Patagonia and Lindbergh.
And what's the second thing?
Lindbergh.
Okay. Pass on to team 6. Team 6?
Just 1 second. Just okay. Yeah, we pass.
Okay. Team 1?
Yeah, so we will stick with Patagonia, and we'll say the person is Tesla.
Team 2?
So we are going to guess maybe that this is the start of Delta Airlines, and they were doing this crop dusting with pesticides for ball weevils. We don't know who X is. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll split points here. So 5 points to team number 2. They got Delta Airlines correct. So this is indeed Huff Talent Dusters, was what the company was originally called. They took the name after the Mississippi Delta. So I think a lot of people went for geographic features in Peru. It's actually something closer to the US. And team number 5, I believe, was the first one to give me Lindbergh. So +5 to team number 5 for Lindbergh, +5 to team number 2 for Delta. And the question, the bounce will come back to team number 3.
Yeah.
Shreyas, let me know if you're good to move.
Yeah, all good.
Okay. So on the bounce to team number 3 again.
DP, can you mute yourself?
Okay. So this is a photo of an animal. What you saw is in the past decade, in order to protect cheetahs in the wild, the Cheetah Conservation Fund began breeding Kangal dogs, which is the dog that you saw on the previous slide, in Namibia. Once fully grown, the dog is known for its large size and aggressive bark. When the dogs are pups, they are given to members of a certain profession who integrate them into their daily routines. This program has helped alter behaviors in the profession, and in the process has eliminated a threat to the cheetah population that was responsible for approximately 1,000 cheetah deaths annually. All of this is done while promoting the economic development of the area, which is a rare win-win. So I want to know members of which profession received these dogs, and why was the program successful in eliminating the threat to the cheetahs? There's not really any clues in the picture per se. Those are just to show you what the dog looks like. All right. And I'm going to start the pounce timer now. Just want to know what profession and why was it successful in eliminating the threat to cheetahs. Okay, 20 seconds to go approximately. Shreyas, any pounces?
No bounces. Ten left.
Team 4, we are just pouncing.
Okay.
Should we wait any?
Yeah. Let's wait for them to type their answer out. Pounce is closed otherwise. So once team 4's answer comes in, Shreyas, let me know. We can go to team 3.
Okay. Got it. Team 4, I received your pounce.
Okay.
Team 2 sent in a pounce as well, Ani, but I think this came in extreme. I mean,
okay. So no. So team 2 sent it after the timer then. So we'll have to wait for them to wait to see if it comes to them on the bounce. Team number 3, this is your direct on the bounce. So please take it over.
We'll say these dogs are given to farmers where these cheetahs attack their cows and sheep or whatever that they have. And why was it successful to threat to cheetahs? Because cheetahs were scared of the bark of these, kept away from the cows and sheep or whatever the farmers had. So they didn't. The farmers didn't need to attack the cheetahs and slaughter them or whatever. So
okay, that is a great answer and is fully correct. So that's exactly what's going on here. So these were livestock farmers who used to have a lot of goats, especially. So cows less so, but goats in particular, and cheetahs because of generally the encroachment on forest land and cheetah territory, have increasingly gone hunting on these farms. And so farmers would end up killing the cheetahs, and the cheetah, however, is afraid of the dog's bark because of its size. And so when you have these Kangal dogs out there, cheetahs tend to stay away from the territory. And so as a result of this is non-lethal predator control, which has massively reduced the threat to the cheetah population. So plus 10 there to team number 3. What happened to the pounce stress? What did team 4?
So team 4 said, I sent it to you on chat as well. Shepherds people kill cheetahs. Now that's not required because of these dogs. I think that's acceptable. Or
so I mean, I would have liked something about the bark, but
yeah,
I think the general logic of shepherds and the dogs protecting the livestock is fine. So we'll give plus 10 there.
Okay, plus 10 to team 4.
Okay, and this goes to them on the direct on the bounce, right?
Yes, this is a team 4 direct now.
All right. So let's move to team 4's direct. You good?
Yeah, all good.
All right. So this flag, adopted in 1966, is one of the few flags to not use Pan-African colors. The blue represents a particular resource. However, unlike most flags which reflect resources that are abundant in the country, the blue signifies a resource that is sparse in this country on account of its topography. The country's motto also alludes to this resource. So what is this resource? We want a slightly specific answer. So for instance, if you think the resource is iron, I mean, we want something like iron ore or something a little bit more specific. Okay, for first part. The second part is this flag also pays tribute to its national animal, which was chosen to advance a particular message. This message was in deliberate contrast to another African country. What was the message? So 2 parts, what was the resource and what was the message? Pounce timer, we're starting now. So 30 seconds to go on pounce.
Sorry, something's hiding my screen. Team 6, I received your pounce. You will need to be more specific for the first part, the resource part. And we are not asking for the animal, we're asking for the message.
Okay, so pounce is closed. Did anyone else apart from team 6 pounce?
No, team 6 is the only one that pounced, but I think they'll need to give a better answer so we can wait for them to get me something.
Okay, so we'll wait for team 6 to improve their answer. And, in the meantime, the direct will go to team number
4.
Team 4, so we'll wait for team 6 and then go
just wait for 6. Yeah.
Anirudh, can you explain part 2? What exactly are you looking for? Can you give a little bit of
Sorry, for which part?
Part 2.
Part 2. So part 2, the reason that animal was chosen was to advance a certain So I think there's an echo from somebody's mic. I don't know who's. But it was chosen to advance a particular message.
Let me mute that person. Just a second.
Okay, I think it's gone now. So to whoever asked that question, that animal was chosen to advance a very particular message for a reason. And that message was at the time a deliberate contrast to another African country. So we don't want to know what the animal was. We want to know what is the message that was being advanced that is reflected in why the animal was chosen. So Shreyas, let me know if Team 6 has...
Team 6 has given me an updated answer, and you can start with 4 on the bounce.
Team 4 on the bounce.
We'll say copper for the resource, and part 2. We pass for part 2.
Okay. Team 5?
So we're going to say the resource is fresh water. And for the animal or message, the AK-47 of Mozambique signifying war. So this country was basically like peace or dove with a white symbolizing that. That was the message they wanted to bring across.
Okay. Team 6 has bounced, correct?
Team 6 bounced, so you can go to 1.
Okay, Team 1.
Yes, for the first part, we will say it's rain. A lack of rain is a problem in the country. So it represents rain. And for the second part, okay, we don't have anything specific. So we'll say some other country which has a lion as the national animal or a mascot, and there's a conservation of lion that happens. And these people specifically wanted to bring in the message of conservation for zebras. And that is why they have zebras on the flag in contrast to lions from the other country.
Okay. Team 2?
So we're going with the rain for the blue. I think the black and white represent as an animal zebra, and I think the contrast here was to emphasize the black as a contrast to South Africa, which was where apartheid was popular at that time.
Okay, and what's the message?
The message was that black and white could probably live in harmony or something like that, and hence you have black and white symbolizing the zebra and so forth.
Okay, and the resource you said was?
Water or rain, I guess, but water, yeah.
Okay, I'll give it to you. So 10 points to Team 2. It is correct. So the resource is rainwater specifically. It's not fresh water, Team 5. Because this is the flag of Botswana. Botswana obviously is a part where a large part of the Kalahari Desert runs through it. So it's very arid. So rainwater is incredibly important to the country, which is why both their currency, the pula, and their national motto means "Let there be rain" in the Setswana language. And the second part, Team 2, is absolutely correct. So it was chosen because Botswana wanted to make a very overt showing that they were having racial integration and racial harmony, which was meant to be a contrast to South Africa at the time, which was still maintaining the apartheid regime. So great crack from team number 2, plus 10 to them. Plus 5 to team 1 for getting rainwater. And what happened on the bounce, Shreyas?
Team 6 bounced and got it right.
Okay, great. Plus 10 to team number 6. And so this question goes to team number 3 on the bounce. So in May 1946, Oxford University's Majlis Society organized a special dinner, which is the last time someone would hold a dinner for X. Organizing this dinner was rather challenging, with the biggest challenge being the menu, which most restaurants would have refused to do. Eventually, they managed to get the Angel restaurant to agree, although quite how they did so is not known and likely involved extensive persuasion. So, 2 parts. So, why was this the last time a dinner for X would happen? and why would most restaurants have refused to host? So we have an image on the next slide of sort of the event card from the dinner, which also shows you the menu. All right. So this image is hopefully back. Shreyas, is it in the thing with exclamation N?
Yeah, it's in there.
Okay. So that image should be in your group chats. I'll go back to the text and I'll start the pounds timer. Okay. 30 seconds to go.
To go. No bounces yet.
Okay.
Yeah, no bounces on it.
Nobody pounds, so that goes in the bounce to team number 3 to start us off. Team 3. Team 3.
Guru, give you a guess.
Anyone from team 3?
We will say that this was for Subhash Chandra Bose.
Okay.
And why would most restaurants have refused to host? They insist. No, we'll pass on that.
Okay. Team 4.
For A, we will say this was the Indian cricket team, the pre-independence cricket team. It was the last tour of England. That's for part A. Part B, maybe because they felt basically Indians are subordinates, etc. So let's not serve them. Some sort of a racist angle for part 2.
Team 5.
We're going to go with Muhammad Ali Jinnah for who the dinner was hosted for, and most restaurants would have refused to host it because of the problems with halal food and getting halal food for this particular dinner because there's meat on the menu.
Okay. Team 6.
Yeah, on the card it says Pataudi, so we will go with the same cricket in the Indian cricket team, and probably they refused to host it because colonies that were still under the British, they started to show resistance, and we'll not serve them. So something against the British resistance or something like that. We'll go with Indian cricket team because it said Pataudi on the card. So
okay. This is now team 1.
Yeah, we will say we stick with the Indian cricket team for the first part, and for the second part, we'll say this would mean that it will be a bunch of Indians who would be the only people in that restaurant and would have to be served by white people, and that was not something that was acceptable practice at that point.
Okay.
And and they would have to face
So team 2 here. We're going to go again also with the Indian cricket team. This was, of course, pre-independence. So the question says last time a dinner. So this was the last time there would be a dinner for sort of a unified cricket team that had players who later played for India and Pakistan. And why would most restaurants may have refused because many restaurants had a no Indians sort of policy, maybe.
Okay, so +5 to team 4 was the first to get. This is the sort of pre-independence Indian cricket team. Of course, there are a lot of signatures: Pataudi, Vijay Hazare, Vijay Merchant. The reason actually has to do more to do with the menu and less to do with sort of restaurant policies. In 1946, most parts of Britain were still under some amount of rationing in the aftermath of World War II, which meant that the government had imposed policies that had to limit how many courses you could serve on a meal. And as part of that, restaurants were generally allowed to charge only a fixed rate for meals in restaurants as a way to not allow people to get around rationing schemes by going to eat out a lot more. So that was the challenge that made it difficult for this to be hosted for the All India cricket team at the time. So +5 to team number 4, who got the All India cricket team or the pre-independence Indian cricket team. And nobody gets points in the second one. And because team 4 got 5, we move on to team number 5.
Lovely question.
Thank you. Team number 5. Okay, so this is a particular painting. I'll keep this slide up for a few seconds. Go to the text and then come back to this slide. So this is a particular painting. All right. So the painting on the previous slide is by Jacques-Louis David, and it memorializes an important real-life historical moment from 399 BCE. David, however, breaks with certain facts in his painting, most notably as relates to the protagonist of the painting, who's in the center. Another change is the addition of X, who was not present at the event and is made to look much older than he was at the time. Perhaps David did this because X went on to provide the most definitive account of this event. And what he did is he provided a certain kind of tribute, which art historians say was done as a tribute to X. And some call it a citation of sorts because X provided the source material for David. So I marked X in the painting. I want to know who is X and what did David do as a tribute to X in this painting. So the answer is in the picture if you want to work it out from there. So I'll start the pounce timer now.
Team 3, I received your pounds.
Anirudh, can you explain the second part? So, whose X is 1, and what do you mean?
The second part is, so David does something to this painting, which he does as a tribute to X. Almost some art historians call it a citation of sorts to X because X provided the source material. So I don't know, what did he do? He did something in this painting. So pounce has closed. We go to team number 5 on the direct.
Okay. X is Plato, who wasn't there at the death of Socrates. And the tribute he's given them in this painting is, if you look closely, you'll see a brush or a pen kind of thing in his hand, which is his way of saying, the only way we know of this event is through Plato. And he's like the real author of this painting.
Okay. Move on to team number. Wait, who pounced, Shreyas?
3.
Not 6, right? Okay, team 6.
No, only 3. Yeah, you can go to 6.
Yeah, so it is Plato.
No, I'll go ahead. It's Plato. And it is something to do with, Plato was wouldn't have been this old at the time of thing. Something about the death of Socrates imagined by Plato later. So it's not a kind of, I don't know how to explain. Basically, Plato imagined this or projected or whatever, and this painting depicts that, because Plato seems to be shown older than Socrates here.
Sure, but how did David pay tribute to Plato in this painting? By making him older, is what you're saying.
And sadder, no? So basically, I think it's kind of a time thing. Plato was not there, but since Socrates was his teacher or something like that, so he made him a sad old man who's kind of probably, I'm just guessing, reflecting on Socrates' death or whatever.
Okay, good guess, but not the right answer. Move on to team 1.
So we will stick with Plato for the first part. For the second part, we'll say David interpreted this as a Last Supper painting as well, and he shows 13 people similar to traditional depictions of the Last Supper. And Plato was included in that as one of the apostles, so that he would be carrying forward the work of Socrates, probably specifically as Peter.
Okay, very nice guess, but not the right answer. Team 2.
So okay, it's X's Plato, as everyone has gone for. And how did David pay tribute to X? I think part of it is that by this time, I think Plato would have been younger when the event happened, when the death of Socrates happened. But here he is depicted as older, and in a way, maybe it reflects. He's modeled a little bit after Socrates himself, to say that Plato idealized Socrates, and his, in the conversations of Plato, this last discussion with Socrates is captured, which led to this painting in a way. So I think it's basically including Plato and this reference to how Socrates influenced him.
Okay, pass to team 3 as Pounce. Team 4.
We'll say Plato, and so Plato, this is sort of imagining of how Plato must have felt distraught at the death of Socrates. So he's made to he's shown as someone who's ill in the painting, who's sick, who's not well.
Okay. So did team 3 get it on the Pounce, Shreyas?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. No, they did not get it.
Okay. All good. So we go to the answer then. So everyone got it. It is indeed Plato. So 5 points to team 5 for obviously getting that first. What happens is David includes his initials on the block on which Plato is sitting. So if you look closely at the painting, you can see LD over there. That is what art historians say is a way of David. Generally, what he does is he just signs his name David somewhere in the painting, which is, if you look at the block that Crito is sitting on, you'll see L David over there. Or the painting on the right is another painting by him called the Sabine Women, where again David is there. But in this painting, he adds a second signature on the block on which Plato sits. And that is thought to be an tribute to Plato for providing the, having a role of the art being created itself. And so he's giving him almost a second signature, as you are also responsible in some way for being the painter of this painting. The incident, obviously, most people got it right, was indeed the last hours of Socrates' life. Incidentally, this character, the one who's clutching at Socrates' thigh or knee in the photo, is Crito, who is the person who tells the story of the death of Socrates to Plato. So +5 to team 5, -10, I believe, then to team number 3 on the Pounce.
Yep.
Okay, and this is a direct question to team number 6. All right. So Guino is a French cosmetics company known for its pioneering approach to tennis sponsorship. Their sponsorship efforts are aimed at Grand Slams. They tend to sponsor 8 to 10 players per slam. However, unlike most companies, they do not traditionally have a fixed roster of players they sponsor. Rather, they are known for spur-of-the-moment endorsement deals, and many of those that they approach are very keen, as it offers a path to cheap publicity for Guino. Guino is usually less busy in week 2 of the slams, although they occasionally continue their sponsorships as they did with the men's singles of the French Open 2018. That's a recent example. So we just want to know what is their unique marketing strategy. I'll show you a photo of what Guino's sponsorship looks like, so you can see on both the left and the right how they are sponsoring. So that's their sponsorship. That's what it involves, is that logo on the side. All right. So I don't know what is their strategy. We'll open pounds.
Is it that username and
so somebody's mic is on, so don't discuss on mic.
I wrote a mail saying that no, that one time that a lot of people have zero payment came, no. Adela, I wrote to them saying that there is somebody maybe trying to hack or something.
15 seconds to go.
Lalita, please turn off your, please mute yourself. Thank you.
10 seconds to go. All right.
Yeah, Ani, I don't have any pounces. No
Okay,
pounces
so
at
no
all.
bounces. So this goes on the direct to team number 6, team 6.
Just give me a minute, please. Can you hear me?
Sure, yes. Yeah.
See, we are just going by wild guess. Is it something to do with non-compete matches?
Non-competitive matches. Okay, good guess.
Exhibition matches, whatever. I'm not sure what I'm saying. So
okay, yeah. So exhibition non-competitive matches. Good guess. Team number 1.
Yeah.
So
I think they sponsor wildcards, so that's the reason. The wildcard is the answer. Wildcard interest.
Okay, I need something little more specific.
Yeah, so basically these are last minute sponsorships which they don't do for long term. So if you look at all the labels that are there, it looks like they're being pasted on at the last minute on top of the other sponsorships that they have.
Okay, so I need you to either tell me something more or I'll have to move it on. So you've said wild cards.
Yeah, these are probably people who win the qualifiers and get into the slams rather than people who are seeded and get into the slams.
Okay.
Hello.
Team number 2.
So we are going to go with underdogs, or more specifically, I think they pick players who are playing at the main courts but don't have any other contractual obligations that prevent them from wearing the Guino patch, because these are the matches that will often be shown on television. So they pick people playing, say, at center court and things like that, and don't have other contractual obligations, usually underdogs.
Okay. I'll give it for that. That is correct answer. So I think the part about wildcards is not sufficient. So what it is these are low seeded or unseeded players who are drawn to play main seeds at the show courts at Grand Slams. So it's not just that they're wildcards who qualify, that they're going to be on primetime television or in the main stadiums. And so that's how they approach these people. The reason it's done on a match-by-match basis is obviously they could get eliminated pretty early. But if they go on a bit more of a deep run and they're continuing on the show courts, then the sponsorship can be renewed on a match-to-match basis. So the one recent example is that's Dennis Istomin in the bottom from the Australian Open a few years ago when he beat Djokovic in the second round. Occasionally, they've been very successful and sponsored people who actually gone on to win the slam who were not high-seeded. So Marion Bartoli at Wimbledon, Sam Stosur, Kuznetsova when she won the US Open a while back in 2004 are some of these players. So great answer there from team number 2, was it?
Yeah, team 2.
Team 2. So plus 10 to team 2. Last question of clockwise to team 3. So in the 1950s, 11 people from Gallaudet College, which is a university for the deaf and hard of hearing, volunteered for a decade-long study conducted by the US Naval School of Medicine and X. Most of them had suffered from spinal meningitis, which left them deaf from a young age. The study tested their balance and physiological adaptations in a range of environments. The Gallaudet 11 reported no adverse effects, and some even enjoyed the experience. As one volunteer said, we were different in a way they needed, and because of the Gallaudet 11, researchers gained deeper insight of the human body. They were thus invaluable to the course of history. So, really simple question: why were the Gallaudet 11 specifically chosen for this study? So I will start Pound's timer now. Okay.
Team 1 and 6, I got your pounds. Team 1, you need to explain a bit more. Team 1 and Team 6 actually. Why in?
So we close Pounds. We'll wait for Team 1 and Team 6 to provide a better explanation.
Team 2, your pounds. Team 2, your pounds came in after the
what
time.
was your? Sorry, what was the comment? I didn't get.
Ani, I think I sent you the messages. Do you want to just explain what you're looking for exactly to Team 1 and 6?
So I mean, we want to know why these people specifically were chosen. I think the Pounces you've shared have talked about sort of the role of the experiment, but I need to know what was the reason that these 11 volunteers were chosen.
Team 2, your pounds came in, but like after the clock ran down, so I think it's unfair to count that one. So I'm going to neglect it.
Okay, have we got Team 1, Team 6?
Yeah, I have received updated answers from them.
Okay, so we'll move to Team 3 on the bounce.
Okay, we will say X is NASA, and since these students were all from the deaf, they used to send them on space-like conditions, and usually in your ear there is some powder kind of thing which is used for balancing, and this I guess this maybe these people lack that, and because of that they were you don't get vertigo and that kind of imbalance in your ear, and because of that they could do experiments to see how humans would respond, something like that.
Okay. All right. So we'll give it for that. I think that's got enough in the right ballpark. So the answer is that because the body's sensory systems generally work under gravitational cues, but in space these gravitational cues are not available. And so things like balance, which the inner ear regulates, are badly distorted as a result of that. However, because people who are hard of hearing or deaf don't usually rely on the gravitational cues in the inner ear, it would be a way for scientists to understand how the body would respond in a sensory manner in an environment where this was not available. So I think which team was that? Sorry, was that Team 3?
Yeah, so Team 3 got it on the bounce. I think Team 1, for the initial answer on having a relationship to balance, gets it, even though it's not related to hearing. I think the balance piece is there, so that's fine for Team 1's bounce. And then Team 6, they went with hearing on both occasions, and I don't think that cuts it.
So it's not about hearing. That's definitely not the right answer. It's about balance and effect of gravity. So the image on the bottom right is actually them in the early model of the Vomit comet. which then apparently they reported no adverse effects from it at all and quite enjoyed it. So great answer there. Team 1, Team 3 get plus 10. Team 6 gets minus 10. So we're at the halfway stage. Should we take a quick break? Should we keep powering on? Either of them is fine for us.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, great. So let's switch the order. So let's now start with team number 6. We'll start with team 6 and we'll go anti-clockwise. So direct to team 6, pounce open to all other teams. So team 6 is first. So the image that you see shows Japanese honeybees protecting themselves against a dangerous predator with a deadly name. The honeybee defense mechanism is unique. When hunting, the predator emits a pheromone signal. The honeybees detect this signal and counterintuitively draw the predator into the hive, which gives away their location. When the predator enters the hive, the honeybees ambush it and execute a brutal but satisfying form of self-defense. The bees violently vibrate their flight muscles, mimicking behavior they perform every winter. However, this mode of self-defense cannot be accomplished outside the hive. So I want just to know, what is the predator, and I want the specific name, and how does this ambush mechanism work? So I've included an image of what the ambush mechanism looks like. Okay, I'll go back to the text because this should be in your chats in the PDF slide. Going back to the text and starting pounce now.
Team 1, I received your points.
All right.
Team 3, I received your pounds as well.
So pounce is closed.
Team 4, I received a pounce, but after the time ran down. So
Sorry, so no pounce from team 4. Just if you got team 1 and 3.
Yeah. I have 1 and 3, so you can continue
Okay,
with
great.
6.
Team 6. Team 6.
I think the predator is a bear. Can you hear me?
Yes.
The predator is a bear, and since it's inside the honeycomb or the hive, I think when the sort of flapping happens inside the honeycomb, there must be some sound effect or auditory effect. It disorients the bear and it goes away because it's a closed thing. When it goes outside, obviously in the open air, the self-defense can't be done.
Okay. Team 5.
So we're going with the second part first. We're going to say this is something like an echo chamber. So the vibration from the wings hurts the predator with the sound. And for the predator itself, we're going to say it's the death's head moth, which sounds deadly enough.
Echo chamber and death's head moth. Okay, team 4.
We'll say the predator is the hornets, and they sort of vibrate together and produce heat, and this heat sort of kills the bees, so heating up the environment.
Okay, can you be more specific for the first part?
I think Vivek is saying murder hornet.
Perfect answer. That's absolutely right. So it is a murder hornet. So the murder hornet, sometimes called the Japanese or Asian giant hornet, which is a more accurate name. And the way that it works is obviously its flight muscles vibrate to generate heat, and it raises the temperature of the hive to well over 46 degrees Celsius. Plus, it obviously emits carbon dioxide, and the combination of this essentially roasts the murder hornet alive when the honeybee vibrates its its wings. It can't happen outdoors because the heat would dissipate and the hornet could escape. So great answer there. Team number 4, was it?
Yes, it was team 4.
Okay. And what did we get on the pounds?
So team 1 has killer hornets and they cuddle together to roast the predator to death, which I think is right.
We'll give it to killer hornet. That's right.
Team 3 has predator's hornet. The honeys tackle them together, increases body temperature, and kill it.
So hornet alone is not sufficient. We shouldn't give negs there, but also no plus.
Okay. Fine. Fair enough.
Those are the only 2 teams, right?
Yeah, those are the only 2 points.
Right.
And then team 4 gets a plus 10.
So plus 10 to team 1, plus 10 to team 4, direct to team 3. Alright. In 1878, an erstwhile reporter was secretly engaged for 7 years to set up the colonial Congo Free State on behalf of Belgian King Leopold.
QFI
Because of their
Spot said
previous
plus 10 to your
experience
team.
on the continent. This is one
Your
person.
score is
There
now
just gender
45.
neutral. So who is this reporter? Second is, after discovering this movement, French intelligence dispatched an Italian-born explorer in 1881 to stake a French claim on the opposite bank of the Congo. What was that person's name, or what did they lend their name to? So just 2-part question. Bounce timer starting now.
Team 3, I got your points. But team 3, it's your direct anyway. So you don't.
So team 3 don't need to bounce. Hold on to answer. Okay, 10 seconds to go. Okay, time's up. So direct team 3, you had an answer, so you can go for it.
We'll say the first chap is H.M. Stanley.
Okay.
And the second is the chap after whom Brazzaville is.
Fantastic answer. So that's
Super answer.
exactly right. Plus 10. The first is indeed Henry Morton Stanley, famous for finding Dr. Livingstone. Second is a guy called Pierre de Brazza, who lent his name to Brazzaville. So plus 10 to team 3. Question now on the bounce to team 2. All right. So until an administrative change in 46 BCE, the office of Pontifex Maximus, which is the chief priest in ancient Rome, was empowered to use a mechanism called the Mercedonius. In theory, the pontiff was supposed to use this power to ensure that the lives of citizens were aligned with the natural world and the seasons, but they were usually politicians as well, and more often wielded it to achieve nefarious aims, like keeping allies in office longer or forcing enemies out of office earlier. So 2-part question. The first is, what is Mercedonius? And the second is, what mechanism was introduced by the change made in 46 BCE, which replaced it being Mercedonius? So I'll start the bounce timer now.
And just to be clear, I think we're looking for a specific mechanism, not the change itself. There was an administrative change, but that introduced something particular. So what is that particular thing? And I suspect if you get the first part, you will know what the mechanism is. 15 seconds to go. Oh, sorry. Let me.
It's not come on the Pounce channel. Now it's come on the.
Sorry, what happened?
Maybe just give like 15 seconds more, Ani.
Okay, fine. I'll just give
I think some teams will not receive it on the channels. So
I'll
just give like
30 seconds. We'll give 30 seconds extra.
sure.
Okay. So 5 seconds to go, and then team 2 is direct.
Yeah,
Okay.
no pounces, Ani.
No pounces. Team 2 direct.
Okay. So I think this was an extra month in the year that was occasionally made available by the popes and others. But then, of course, in 46 BC, Julius Caesar decided he wanted a month named after himself. So that extra month somehow became the month of July.
Okay. So what was the mechanism? You're saying the mechanism was the month of July. Team 2.
Oh, you mean, so what was the mechanism?
So the mechanism introduced in 46 BCE that replaced it. You're saying that mechanism was the month of July. Just make
maybe more specifically, I think it's the Julian calendar, if you want the mechanism.
I think we should move.
Move on. Yeah, move it on.
Team 1. We want a specific mechanism.
We will just end up repeating their answer. So the first part is basically the additional month that is there in certain years when they had that old calendar in place. So in certain years, some of the officials had a longer stint. And the mechanism is specifically the implementation of the Julian calendar, which made away with this additional month in certain years.
Okay. Same answer as them. Team 6.
Yeah, we are saying the additional month is fine, but the mechanism which changed it was the games.
Okay. The games.
Yeah, Olympics, the other games, etc. They extended the time and it was aligned with the season.
Okay. Pass on to team 5.
Yeah, this is team 5. We'll say leap year adjustments for the mechanism, and it was replaced by the Julian calendar.
So wait, say that again. So what is the first part? You're saying leap year adjustments.
Yeah.
Okay, and the second year is the Julian calendar. Okay, pass on to team 4.
We'll say the same extra month bit. For the others, we'll go with Harish's guess. He said timing it based on Vesuvius eruptions. So using that as an indicator.
Got it. Team 3.
We'll say the same thing, extra month, and but I think team 5 was confused. They said leap year for the first part. We'll say leap year for the second part. That's the mechanism.
Okay. That is a complete answer. That is correct. So team 5 got very close. It is actually the case that the Mercedonius was indeed an intercalary period, so extra month is generally correct, to align the calendar with the Earth's revolution around the sun. And team number 3 gets it right. So what was introduced was not just the Julian calendar specific. You need something more specific. It was specifically the concept of having leap years, which would eliminate the need for a Mercedonius, because you would just account for the extra 1/4 day that's being built up every time by adding that every 4th year in the form of an extra day in February. So great answer that team 3, plus 10 to you, plus 5 to team number 2. for getting inter-gallery period or extra month. And direct goes back to team number 2 now. All right, team 2, this is your direct. So many spices in this iconic food item like cardamom, star anise, and cumin are not indigenous to the country it is associated with. They were likely brought in by traders from the Indian subcontinent and Middle East. These spices are combined with local produce like galangal and shrimp paste to yield a rich paste. Reflecting its origin, the dish is prepared only sparingly with pork. So, what is the food item and why did this name come about for this food item or dish?
Is there any visual or just the text for this?
Just the text. Ani, you can start the timer. Hello? Ani? Okay. Sorry, Anirudh just lost power. Give me a second. I'll try and share my screen instead. Just hold on, everyone. Sorry. He's been having some issues with power recently. Give me 1 second. Share my screen. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen now. I am on the slide which says intercalary period to align with the calendar. So the answer slide to the previous question, basically. Can you guys see that?
No, 1 sec. No, wait. Your screen is refreshing.
Okay.
Just wait for a minute.
Yeah, no worries. Does it come up now?
Yes.
No, it hasn't yet. Sorry. I'm still seeing a blank screen. Let me try the stream again. Just give me a minute.
Yeah.
Blank screen for us too.
Maybe you have to exit his stream and join mine. Or
TP, I think you may have to join Shreyas.
You have to join my stream. So my Shreyas R is my stream.
Just give me a minute. Sorry.
But I am on your screen.
No, I can see. Correct. Now I'm good. I can see the answer to the previous question.
Okay. If all teams can just confirm that's the stream they can see, let me know and then I can move to the next question.
Yeah, we can. It's team 2. I think I can see the old question, the previous question.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, I'll move on to the next one then. So, let me know. Can you see question 19 now? Can everyone see question 19 now?
Yeah.
On my screen. Okay, perfect. So he's read the question out, so I won't do it again. I'll just start the pounce timer. Sorry for all the confusion. He's just had power outages recently. So timer is on, pounce is on. Team 3 and only team 3. Team 3 have received your pounce. Yeah, that's all I've got so far. And just a reminder, this is team 2's direct.
Again,
it's team 3. We had pounced with some gap in the pounce and all. I don't know if they've got the full answer.
I got 2 pounces from you. That's a complete answer. I'll accept it.
Okay.
So yeah. So I think 10 seconds-ish to go. No other pounces. Yes, team 1, I received your pounce. and I have time. So team 3 and team 1, I've got your answers. Team 2, it's your direct. So if you want to give me an answer.
Yes. So this is the masaman paste in Thailand used for masaman curry. And the name comes from, because it came from these Middle Eastern Arab traders, it comes from Musalman or for Muslim. And it of course is limited pork because the Muslims don't eat pork.
Yeah, fantastic answer. You have that absolutely right. So it is indeed masaman curry, Thai curry. Let me know if you can see my stream still. I think so. I'm currently on the answer slide on my stream. So if that's working fine, that's good for me to know. As you said, because it was Arab or Muslim traders typically who brought in the spices in the first place. So well done there, team 2. Team 1, your pounce was correct as well. Team 3, unfortunately, that's a neg for you. So well done. Let me just add in your score for team 2 as well. Okay, super stuff, team 2. And I'll move on to the next question with team 1's direct. So Lewis Carroll was the pen name for Reverend Charles Dodson, a deeply conservative and traditionalist mathematician at Oxford. His famous Alice works were intended to be allegories for his views on mathematics and philosophy. There's a scene on the next slide that will be a video. The scene in Alice in Wonderland is a rebuke to contemporary developments in mathematics, which were pioneered by Euler and Gauss. But these broke with rules and structures that Dodson saw as fundamental. So the question is, what development in mathematics was the scene responding to? There's a video here. I know we've had trouble with audio with the previous YouTube, but I've put up the relevant pieces of text, the quotes that are being said on screen on the side as well. So hopefully that's enough. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to get the video to run. Okay, doesn't look like I can get the video to run. I'll try and find it, but what I'll do in the interim, just to keep it going, is you can read the text on the side. Like I said, that contains most of the useful information anyway. I'll keep it out for about 20 seconds more and then start the pounce. But the question is, what does this scene refer to? So what development in mathematics is this scene a reference to? What is he expressing his opinion on? So I'll leave it up again for 20 seconds and then I'll start the pounce. Apologies for the video and the general.
I'm not able to hear the audio.
Sorry? There is no video playing right now. I can't get it to play on mine, unfortunately. So the text on the side will capture everything you need from the video in the first place. So I'll leave that up there for a few seconds more and then start the pounce. Question again being, what development in mathematics was the scene responding to? Yeah, I'm starting the pounce now. If you haven't received either of the slides, let me know. But I think it says to me that you have. So 30 seconds left. About 10 seconds left. And I have time. So I received no pounces. But team 1, it's your direct. So I open it to you if you have any answers for me. Team 1.
So we'll say the development was calculus, which Lewis Carroll didn't think was something that made sense from his perspective, and this was kind of his rant against calculus.
Okay. So calculus didn't make sense to him, and so he put this up. It's a good guess. Unfortunately, not the answer. So team 6.
I'm just guessing what my teammate has typed here. He's saying algebraic theorem, cumulative property.
Okay, so cumulative property doesn't make sense. And is that what the answer is? Okay. Unfortunately,
commutative.
not.
Sorry.
Commutative. Okay. Unfortunately, not. It's a good guess though. Again, team 5.
We'll say mathematical logic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I'll have to move you on. Team 4.
We'll say something like let's say stochastic calculus, so which is not deterministic. So here the answers are a bit vague. So stochastic as opposed to non-deterministic.
Again, a good guess. Non-deterministic numbers and processes. Unfortunately, not. Team 3.
We'll guess vectors.
Okay, the concept of vectors. Interesting answer. Unfortunately, not. Team 2 to close it off.
Sorry, it got disconnected, so I don't know what the other answers were, but is it matrices or something like that?
Matrices. Again, unfortunately not. So everyone's had a round and all good answers, I can see good reasons for all of them. Some of them actually came quite close. So the answer is actually just complex numbers or imaginary numbers. So the use of I for the imaginary root of -1, which to Lewis Carroll just seemed so arbitrary or so abstract from anything real that he just thought it was absurd. In particular, there's one number system called quaternions, which back in the day was theorized and today is used extensively. So, for instance, your phone almost certainly uses it to calculate its orientation. And all of these quotes are basically his rants, I guess, on different properties of this number system. So, the absurdity of it, the chaotic nature of it, and someone rightly backed out the non-commutative nature of the numbers here. So, it was just him ranting about this new development that he was not happy about. So unfortunately, no one got the answer, but some very good, logically worked out guesses there, I think. I'll move on to the next question, which is also Team 1's direct. Okay, so after Soviet geologists identified this area in current-day Turkmenistan as a potential oil field, petroleum engineers in 1971 found that the rigs had instead hit a pocket of natural gas. So to their shock, the ground beneath their equipment collapsed on itself, yielding a crater measuring over 70 meters in diameter and causing a gas leak from the reservoir. So 2 parts to this one. What did the engineers do to prevent the poisonous gas discharge that was coming out? The second part is, what name did local people give to the feature that eventually resulted? So I'll start your pounds now. Team 1, I received your pounds. 5, I received your pounds. Team 3, I received your pounds. Team 4 as well. Team 1, it is your direct anyway. 5, 3, and 4, I got your pounces. Team 2, I got your pounds as well. And that is the end of pounds. So then, Team 1, you pounce anyway, but it's your direct, so why don't you give us the answer?
Yeah, they set it to fire, and it was a gas popularly called the gateway to hell.
Yeah, lovely answer. So they set fire to the gas itself, expecting it would extinguish in 2 days, but 50 years later, the fire burns, and as you rightly pointed out, it's called the gates to hell or the gateway to hell, also called the Darwaza gas crater. And this is just another kind of cool picture to see how it looks. It looks like a nice, easy one. A lot of teams scored nice points on this. Teams 5, 3, 4, 2, and 1 all get 5 points for it. 10 points for it. Well done. And now we'll move to Team 6 for their direct. Oh, thanks, Sunny. Looks like you're back online. Okay. Team 6, here's your direct. So, phosphorus is usually found in soils with large masses of dead microorganisms and is the principal driver of plant fertility in the Amazon basin. However, Amazonian soils by themselves are P deficient or phosphorus deficient because frequent rainfall washes away the nutrients into streams. But through the 2010s, scientists confirmed that this leaching of phosphorus is balanced by an annual migration of dust from a very surprising source, which brings about 22,000 tons of phosphorus to the region every year. The discovery also lent credence to another recent theory about the natural history of this source of the dust. So 2 parts again. What is the source of the dust? And what is the theory that this discovery has helped lend credence to? So your time starts now for the pawns. I have about 30 seconds left.
No teams have bounced as yet.
Yeah, I don't see any bounces either. And that's time for me. I don't have any bounces, Ani. So I'll move to Team 6 for their
No
direct.
bounces.
So team
6. Wait, Team 3 is bouncing now, but it's late, so you should move to 6.
Okay. Team 6. Can we get an answer, please?
Something, just give me a few seconds.
Okay.
Okay, his guest is dust from Sahara or Africa.
Okay.
I don't think we have an answer on the theory. So it should be from, I think, Africa, the dust that contains phosphorus. But he doesn't have an answer on the theory.
Okay. So I'll take your first answer there for the dust, which was Sahara, and you don't have an answer for the theory. Moving on to Team 5.
So we also go with desert dust for the first part, and for second part we'll say butterfly effect.
The butterfly effect. Okay. Unfortunately not. Good guess though. Team 4.
So we'll say Sahara only for part 1. For part 2, something about the formation of the Sahara itself. I think using this, you could somehow date the origins of Sahara Desert.
Do you have something more than that to say? So you can date the origin, sure, but is there anything else about the origin?
Essentially, time the rainforests, whatever you could date there, and map it to the Sahara origins.
Okay. Okay, I'll move you on. Team 3.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so Sahara is the source of the dust, and the theory is that Sahara was once inhabited with life. It's only 2 to 3 million years old, if I'm not wrong. So it got desertified. So that the theory is Sahara is very recent and it got desertified. So there was life earlier. So all of the microbes that now all the phosphorus source actually comes from an earlier life form source that died out and is now inhabited in the Sahara Desert and is sort of transported to the Amazon. Is that that's our guess.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fair enough. I think I've heard enough. I'll give it to you. So the answer is indeed the Sahara Desert, as 6 pointed out, Team 6. So they get 5 points for that. And the second part, which Team 3 hinted at, was indeed that the Sahara was once a lake bed. So it was not, as you suggested, not a desert to begin with. It was actually a lake bed formed over 250,000 years ago, when you can read about the event the Nile River pushed through a low channel and flooded the area, which is where all the dead microorganisms are thought to have come from. We actually had a really interesting video to show you how the dusts have been studied, the migration from the Sahara to the Amazon. But unfortunately, it looks like I'm not able to play the video on my screen. So we'll maybe send it around later, but it is quite an interesting video. I'd urge you to watch. But super answer there from 6 and 3. And I think, Ani, it's 5 for Team 6 and then 5 for Team 3. Or is it 10 for Team 3, sorry?
10 for Team 3. I've given them 10.
Okay, super. Thanks
So
for
they got the
taking
full
care of it.
answer, right?
Yeah, agreed. So well done, Team 3. Team 2, this is your direct. Here's the question. Oops. The name of this writing system references a 16th century use by a religious sect. It means either utterance by the teacher or of those who face the teacher. This contrasts with another script used to transcribe the same language in the opposite direction, whose name evokes royal instead of spiritual decree. So what are the names of these two scripts whose prevalence is now largely determined by a border? We'll give you 5 points for each of the scripts if you can get them. And your pounce time starts now.
Okay, so no one's pounced us yet. For 20 seconds.
We have about 15 seconds left now, yeah.
4 we are pouncing.
Okay, just send it in.
5 is also pouncing.
Team 4, I've got your pounce.
Team 4, okay. Did someone else say they were pouncing?
Yeah,
or
team 5 pounce, that's the only team, and then after that you can go in the bounce to Team 2.
Okay.
I've got a pounce from
sorry,
Team
not
3.
pouncing.
Okay, I got a pounce from Team 3 that came in just before, and that's fine.
Okay.
So Team 4 and Team 3, and it goes to the bounce to Team 2.
Okay, Team 2. What is your direct answer?
So one of the scripts is clearly Gurumukhi.
Okay.
From the mouth of the Guru, and the other script would be. I'm trying to have to guess, but yeah, I'm not sure what the other script is here.
Okay, so Gurumukhi and no guess for the second one. Okay, passing you to Team 1.
We say Gurumukhi and Devanagari.
I didn't hear that, sorry. Can you repeat? Team 1, can you just repeat your answer? I didn't catch that.
Yeah, Gurumukhi and Devanagari.
Okay, Gurumukhi and Devnagari. Okay, good answer, no. Team 6?
Just wait, please.
Yeah, no worries.
We are typing because my... I think it would be the Pakistani version of Gurumukhi, but I have no clue. Sorry, pass.
Okay, fair enough. Team 5?
We say Gurumukhi and Rajshahi.
Gurumukhi and Rajshahi.
Rajshahi, yeah. Like Punjabi written. The difference is, the border is Punjab and India and Pakistan. So there's a difference in the writing.
Okay. I think I need 2, 3, and 4 pounds, and I think 3 had it
direct. So 3 and 4 have pounds. 3 got an answer right. If you want to ask
3,
them.
do you want to just give out the answer then?
Gurmukhi for the first part. facing the Guru, and other one is being royal is Shah, so Shahmukhi.
Very nicely done, Team 3. Gurmukhi and Shahmukhi. As someone pointed out correctly, India and Pakistan. So Gurmukhi is written left to right, Shahmukhi is written right to left. So hence the opposite directions clue. Very nicely backed out there. I think that's on the pounds. 3 gets it right.
On the
4
pounds,
gets
Team
it.
3 gets it. Team 4 gets a minus because they got Gurmukhi, but they went for something else instead of Shahmukhi.
Okay.
And then Team 2 gets +5, correct? For Gurmukhi?
Yeah, indeed. Very nicely done. All teams there. And this makes it Team 1's direct, I think, again?
Yes.
So let's go on to the next one. So Team 1, here's your direct. There's a picture on this one. We'll come to that next. So this is the prison facility on the erstwhile Isle of Pines. The design is intended to give inmates the feeling that they are under constant surveillance, or at least to never let them know when they are being watched. And you'll see in the picture, there's a central watchtower that overlooks cells in a 5-story ring around it. So 2 questions. The first one, what idea by 18th century philosopher Jeremy Bentham is this prison design based on? Second question, which pair of political prisoners did this prison hold, both of whom went on to become heads of state in their nation? So I'll move on to the picture quickly. And Ani, if you can just send this around the chat as well. We'll pause here for a few seconds and then go back to the text and I'll start the pounds timer. Okay, so I'll go back to the text now and I'll start pounds.
Are you sharing a picture or it's just a text?
Yes, the picture should have come in the pounds chat, not the chat.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so my stream is just the text.
So no one has pounced as yet. About 25 seconds to go. Okay, Team 2, I've got your pounds.
Yeah, I see it as well, Team 2. Okay. 10 seconds to go. Okay, closing pounds now because that's time for me. No other pounds, right, Ani? So we can go to Team 1.
Just
Team 1. Let's hear your direct answer, please.
So the idea is the panopticon.
Okay.
And we will say Mandela and Castro.
So Panopticon with Mandela and Castro. Okay. Moving you on to Team 6.
Just wait a minute, please. It is Che and Castro.
It is Che and Castro, and your guess for the first piece?
Panopticon.
Okay, Panopticon, Che and Castro. Team 5?
So we go with Panopticon and Raul Castro and Fidel Castro.
Perfect answer there, Team 10. It is the Panopticon, and it was indeed the Castro brothers. So the prison itself is called the Presidio Modelo. It's on what used to be called the Isle of Pines. And I think now it's called Isla de Juventud or something. So Island of Youth, because they renamed it after the Castros came into power. And of course, Fidel and Raul Castro. Che and Castro is a good guess as well, but I don't think we'll be giving any part points for getting one part of the pair right. So, Ani, I make that's 5 points for Team 1 for getting Panopticon, 10 points for Team 5 for the complete answer. And what do you have on the pounds?
Team 2 got it on the pounds, so 10 points for them.
Okay, super. So that makes it Team 4's direct for the next one. Are you all set with the scores, Ani?
Yep. Let me just share the images of this answer and then we can.
Yep, got it.
Yeah.
Team 4, here's your direct. So in 1937, Gunnar Myrdal was hired by the Carnegie Corporation to lead an inquiry into race relations in the United States, which yielded a report titled An American Dilemma. So the first question is, what watershed moment in US history did this report lend support to? Murdahl was also a co-recipient of the 1974 Nobel Prize in Economics. Both awardees of this prize were recognized for studying the theory of money and economic fluctuations and the interdependence of economic, social, and institutional phenomena. But neither recipient of the prize was pleased with the arrangement. So the second question is, who was the other awardee? I'll start the pounce timer now.
Whose question is this?
This is Team 5 direct.
Team 4's direct. 5 got the last
sorry,
one.
my bad. Apologies. Yes, Team 4. Yeah. Sorry about that.
So no pounces as yet.
I have about 10 seconds left. Team 2, I see your pounce.
Okay. Team 2 is pounced, yeah.
Okay, and I think that's pounce closed. So we can go to Team 4 for their direct. Team 4?
Say that this was sort of the first study into racism. So that sort of he presented evidence that racism is sort of common in the U.S. society and so on. So it was taken seriously after this report.
Okay.
Second one, we are guessing Hayek as the other economist.
So for the first part, your guess is racism was taken seriously. For the second part, Hayek.
Racism does exist, and he gave some evidence and so on.
I see. Okay, move you to Team 3.
We'll say first part is this. Eventually, the American dilemma was about the racial segregation. So eventually led to that Little Rock, Arkansas, where they allowed African American kids to attend school for white kids. So end of racial segregation. And second part is Hayek.
Okay, I think that completes it. It's a fantastic answer. They're from Team 3, I believe. Team 3. Let me move on to this. So the first part indeed was the end of racial segregation in schools. So Brown v. Board of Education, which is the famous court ruling. So this is what ended the practice of racially segregating kids and putting them in different schools. The second half, of course, is Friedrich Hayek, who disagreed on almost every matter with Gunnar Myrdal, which is why neither of them was very pleased by the arrangement. So super answer there. I think that's 10 points to Team 3.
QFI
5 points to Team
Spot said
4
plus
for
5 to
getting
your team.
Hayek correct.
Your score is
I
now
think
50.
Team 2 gets 10 on the pounce.
Okay, lovely. Let me know when you're done with the scores, Ani.
Yep, I'm done. You can move on. I'm just sending out the end.
Okay, that makes it Team 2's direct. So Team 2, this is your direct, and there's a picture that will follow this slide as well. So these are pictures of the European Space Agency's Mars Yard. It's a testing environment for their planned 2022 unmanned mission to Mars. The Martian surface is fine-grained, powdery, and contains high amounts of iron and sodium, while the crust is largely basalt. 2 questions here. First is, where did the ESA procure 150 tons of similar soil from, which ultimately influenced the location for the project? Second question is, what is the purpose of the specialized crane in the background? So I'll move over to the pictures. Those are the 2 pictures that will help you. We put the questions there as well. I'm going to pause on this view for my stream, but you have the text of the whole thing in your Slack, in your Pounce channels anyway. I'm going to start the Pounce timer now. I have 10 seconds left. I've seen no bounces so far. Okay, that's time for me. No bounces, so team 2, we'll go to you for your direct. Team 2. Team 2. Anyone from team 2?
So we don't have a great answer. So I think maybe the basalt is from volcanic explosions near Naples. Maybe it was Vesuvius, and the specialized crane is to hold up something from collapsing, but can't tell from here. Yeah.
Okay. Good guesses on both accounts. I'll move it to team 1.
Okay, we're saying the soil samples are from the Thar Desert, and the crane is to mimic gravity.
Can you repeat the second part, please? I didn't hear that.
The purpose of the crane is to mimic the.
It's to mimic what?
Gravity. To mimic gravity.
To mimic gravity. What do you mean? Sorry. Can you explain that a bit?
Yeah, simulate the load or push down just to subject the sample to gravitational forces.
To subject the sample to gravitational forces.
Conditions existing in Mars.
Yeah, okay. I think I'll give it to you for that. That's a good enough answer for me. So that completes the answer. I'll move on to... So the answer was, as Team 2 pointed out for the first part, it was indeed Mount Vesuvius, which is where the soils were procured from. Basalt is a volcanic rock, and so the eruption, whenever it happened 2,000 years ago, throughout soil that is very similar to Martian soil. And that's why the ultimate environment was built in Italy. So this actually is in Italy. And the second part, as Team 1 had, I think when they were pushed on it, eventually they came to the right conclusion, which is it is used to simulate the effect of gravity on the rovers. So it's actually not to push them down, but to lift them up a bit, because Martian gravity is less than Earth gravity. So to simulate what their motion would be like in gravity, they actually had these cranes and they connect them to the rovers and test them out. So super answers for both Team 2 and Team 1. I make that 5 points to Team 2 for Vesuvius, 5 points to Team 1 for the gravity as well. Ani, do you have anything on the bounce?
Nope. Bot said +5 to your team. Your score is now 95.
It's a little scary, but what does that sound? So, okay, super answer there, Team 2 and Team 1. Carry robotic voice in the middle as well. So, Team 6, this is your direct now. It's a simple question. What is the story behind these paintings by artist William Utermohlen? So, you see the pictures, just tell me the story there, and I'll start your bounce timer now.
Whose question is this? Sorry.
So direct to Team 6. Team 4, I got your bounce. Okay. See, 10 seconds left. Team 3, I see a bounce. Team 2, I see a bounce. And Team 1, I see a bounce. So, 4, 3, 2, and 1 have all bounced. So bounce is closed now. Team 6, we can go to you for your direct.
Okay, see, I'm just reading. It looks like self-portraits of the artist. Okay, all these are self-portraits of William Outermolen, and over time, 1967 it shows, and 2000, yep. Probably Alzheimer's, I guess. I'm not too sure.
Okay, that's a fantastic answer. It's exactly what it is. It is indeed self-portraits of the painter through Alzheimer's disease or dementia. So this was a fairly famous sequence of paintings that was, I think, an exhibit in New York at MoMA for a while. So in 1995, the artist was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and he decided to chronicle his own journey through Alzheimer's to kind of show the real world, or the rest of the world at least, what it's like inside his head as he goes through the disease. So you can see the paintings become increasingly abstract, and eventually I think he passed away in 2001, but then this collection of paintings has been in the museum for a while now. So fantastic crack there from Team 6. I think, Ani, I don't know if it's...
I think all the teams got it. So
okay.
four all got it.
Okay, fantastic. So just, if you can take the score, then let me know when you're done.
Yep.
Sorry, I just thought you were on the phone with your phone.
No, all good, all good.
Good.
So okay. Plus 10 to Team 6, right?
Yep, plus 10 to Team 6, which makes the next one Team 5's direct. Last few questions. Okay, so this photo, published in the December 1888 Scientific American, depicts a public experiment led by an engineer named Harold Brown. So 2 questions. What invention did a series of similar public demonstrations around that time lead to? Second question is, what ulterior motive lay behind the invention and these experiments? And I'm going to start your bounce timer now. As a reminder, it's a Team 5 direct.
No bounces as yet, 30 seconds to go.
Just give us a minute. Team 6.
Which team is Team 6? Okay.
So Team 6 is bouncing, okay. 5 seconds left.
Team 3 is also bouncing also.
So Team 6 and Team 3 is bouncing as well?
I've got Team 3's bounce. Team 3, I've got a bounce for the second part and not the first part. Team 6, I have got both parts.
Okay, so are we waiting on Team 3 then?
Team 3, I need an answer for the first part.
Okay, we'll wait for them before we go to Team 5.
Okay, got it. Team 3 is done, so you can move to Team 5.
Okay, so let's go to Team 5 for a direct then. So Team 5.
Just one moment.
Okay.
So for the first part, we are going with electric chair.
Electric
and the
chair,
second
okay.
part, it was Edison's campaign to show that AC can be dangerous.
Fantastic answer, Team 5. It's a complete answer. It is indeed part of the campaign by Edison to show AC was dangerous. And as you rightly pointed out, these demonstrations led to the electric chair. So the electric chair was developed using AC current. Thomas Edison backed this engineer called Harold Brown to go around the US conducting experiments where he electrocuted all sorts of animals, dogs, horses, apparently an elephant as well. And the intention was people would see this and would not want to purchase or consume the executioner's current. So super crack, Team 5. Ani, what are bounces?
QFI Spot said plus 10 to your team.
And team
Your
5
score
gets
is now
minus,
65.
Team 6 gets minus 10. They went for horsepower and engine.
Unfortunate. Also a good guess though. Let me know when you're done with the scores and move to the next one.
Yeah, you can move on.
Okay. Super. Second last question for today. So in the 1840s, the British East India Company instituted the Inland Customs Line. Initially, the line was patrolled by 14,000 officers and fortified with large masses of thorny branches. However, this left the fortification susceptible to winds and attacks by ants and locusts. In 1868, the Commissioner of Inland Customs suggested that living trees and shrubs be used instead. This led to the formation of a 2,500 km long hedge across India, which helped the Commissioner pursue his interests as he travelled across the country to ensure that the line was collecting revenue. So 2 questions here, and there's a picture that will be on the next slide as well. First question is, what was the purpose of the line? The second was, who called for the line? Which is a map which will help you, I think, the first part of the question at least, so the purpose of the line. To be clear, it is a customs line, so obviously it has something to do with customs, but I want something more specific than that.
Question is this?
This is for team 4. Team 4 direct. Okay, so
part 2, you want a person, is it?
Yes, so there is a person. Identify the Commissioner of Inland Customs who made this suggestion that they use living trees instead. So I think you've got the map in your PounceBot channels. I'll just start the pounce clock on the text here on my screen. Your time starts now.
So no pounces as yet.
I have 30 seconds left here.
One sec. Team 6 is.
Team 6 is bouncing? Okay.
Team 1 may also bounce.
Okay.
May also pounce, or should we wait for it? Okay, team 1 will wait for your pounce.
Yeah, we just bounce.
Okay. Team 6 got your pounce. Team 3 also got one just in time, so I'll accept it.
Are we still waiting for team 1, right, Ani?
Yes. Okay, team 1's in.
Okay, so let's go to team 4 then for that direct. So team 4.
We'll say this was the salt tax line. So essentially to prevent smuggling and to get the right amount of tax. So this is the barrier put. So salt is the part.
Okay.
So part B, we are saying Hume, Alan Octavian Hume.
Okay, fantastic answer there, team 4. It is indeed to prevent salt smuggling or salt tax, to collect a salt tax rather. So if you go back to the map, you can see that the area that is cordoned off is basically the whole run of Kutch in the west coast, which is where most of the salt used to be produced, and then people would try and obviously sell that in central India or wherever it was harder to get salt. And the British, of course, I guess being the British, wanted to make sure that they collected all the revenue and taxed all of that, so they built literally a hedge across the country to prevent people from going from one side to the other. And on the second front, exactly, it is Alan Octavian Hume. And the fact this hedge existed meant that he could pursue his interest in botany and ornithology. I mean, he's known for classifying or organizing about, I think, 50 species of birds or about 100 subspecies of birds in India as well. So, fantastic crack there from Team 4 on the direct. Ani, what are pounces?
So, Team 2, Team 3 both got it. Team 6 and Team 3 both got it, my bad. And Team 1 went for Robert Clive, also they got the salt tax, so they get -10.
Okay. Super stuff there from every team. I think this brings us to the penultimate question. I guess we don't need a score update per se because everyone has their own scores. But anyway, just before the last question, I think Ani and I would like to say thank you very much for letting us host this. I hope you guys had as much fun as we did putting this together. It was a blast, and apologies again for the power cut in the switch, and I know some of the videos didn't work as well, but despite that, I hope it was fun, and thank you for having us on again. Really appreciate the chance to host this. So everyone knows their scores, I suppose, so we can just move on to the last one, which is direct to team 3. So the principle behind the Schleiden setup is that transparent phenomena often refract or bend a light beam projected through them. These refracted rays then miss a critical focal point in the Schleiden system, which can be a simple target, for example, a razor blade edge that acts as a spatial filter. The razor blade discriminates refracted from unrefracted light rays, allowing invisible optical phase disturbances to become visible. So the question is, what social protocol does this Schleiden setup help provide support for? And we have a GIF that hopefully is playing on your screen for you to see what this flow setup actually is. So we'll pause here for a bit. You can watch it once. And then in any case, this will be on the stream while the bounce counts down, so you can see it again. We also have a couple of images that give you an example to see what does an analysis using the Schleiden setup look like. So what is this actually telling you? So Anirudh will send out all of the pictures and the text. I will focus on this GIF on my stream and start your bounce timer now. So the question is, of course, what social protocol does this setup help provide support for? Support being evidence, it's not a physical support.
So no bounces as of yet.
Okay, I have bounce closed on my end, Ani. So, did you receive any bounce? Ani, with any bounce?
I got one just in time from team 1. That's the only team that bounced.
Okay, so then let's go to team 3 for your direct answer. Team 3.
Guru, make your guess, pa. I have no idea.
So, is it something to do with a selfie? We're not sure really. I mean, it looks like a selfie camera. I'm not particularly. That's our guess, I guess.
Selfie camera. Oh, interesting. Unfortunately, not. Team 2.
Okay, so we're wondering if this is related to airflow and how masks might impact that in the pandemic scenario.
Very interesting answer. And indeed, that is the correct answer. So we have a video for you as well that shows you how this works. But it is exactly that. So this is how scientists have been studying the efficacy of masks. So to prove that they actually do work and to convince the public that it does. Ani, if you want to just share the video, because it is quite a fun video to end on. I'll let you just share your screen perhaps. Unfortunately, I can't. But yeah, the point of it is, as you suggested, you'll see in the video, how do masks work and why they work, so to convince people that they do. And yeah, to end this quiz, I guess, on a kind of public safety announcement note, I hope everyone is wearing masks and staying safe and doing well in the lockdown. So we'll try and pull up the video, but in the interim, I think that makes it 10 points for team 2. Did you register that, Ani?
I'll just do that. My PowerPoint is also not opening for some reason, so I think it's just we might have to unfortunately end there.
Okay, yeah.
But we'll send the link around because it's a very nice video. that kind of shows you exactly how they're able to figure this out.
Yeah.
So yes, 10 for team 2, and on the pounds, team number 1 was the right track with COVID related, but they went for how far does a sneeze travel, which is not it.
Your score is now 135.
It's unfortunate because it does kind of show that, but the point is to study the purpose of the efficacy of masks. Yeah, we'll try and send the video link around, but in the interim, thank you so much for having us. I hope you guys enjoyed the quiz. I'm not sure if you guys want a score update or if you can see the scores yourself.
Thank you, Anirudh. Thank you, Shreyas. That was a superb quiz. Thank you, guys.